All along the coast of Maine, you have 15 island communities. You have 144 working waterfront communities, and all those communities are working to remain vibrant and to thrive. Each community has people dreaming about the future, and not just dreaming, but with the capacity and interest in taking on the risk to do something about it. The Island Institute works to sustain island and remote coastal communities, and we also work to exchange information and experiences so that people can further the sustainability of communities here and elsewhere.
The College of the Atlantic and the Island Institute had partnered on short-term ideas in the past around this issue of energy. What we wanted to do was find some excellent examples of how other island communities made the transition to something else, and we found one in Samso.
We always sort of were aware of the Samso example and very motivated and excited by it. And when we had the chance to start talking with COA about how we might work together, we found out that they also had a connection to Soren Hermansen and the Energy Academy and had always been interested in bringing a group of students to Samso. We started to flesh out what we eventually called CIERA, the Collaborative for Island Energy Research and Action, as at least a one-year initiative for island energy leaders.
There's always been talk about wouldn't it be great if we could take a group of islanders who are dedicated to energy issues on their islands and have them work on actual projects with COA students who are interested in this topic. But first, let's go to Samso and learn together. And here we are. Pretty exciting.
We have the luxury in the United States of not facing a lot of the burdens that people around the world do when it comes to energy, which makes it even more challenging and difficult to think about the future and think about alternatives. But I think that people are starting to come around on that, and I think programs like CIERA are a great way to be a catalyst for change and a mindset that you're building a foundation for sustainable communities that are able to flourish and continue the heritage that has really been in place for a long time.
Meshing the long-term needs of the islands with a college that has 3 10-week trimesters is challenging. And so the question becomes, what happens after the course is over? And I think fortunately, the college is set up where you have self-directed education, that if a student is excited and invigorated by a project, they can then take that to its logical conclusion. And I think you're seeing that here on Samso with Nick coming as a precursor to this project and really helping design the course and really laying out the architecture for our time here on Samso.
I had a winter term available that I wanted to fill in with something, and I mentioned it to Anna, and she mentioned this opportunity in Denmark through her connection of Soren.
Hi, I'm calling from the Energy Academy. My name is Nick. We spoke last winter.
I was always kind of the liaison between COA, the Island Institute, and the Energy Academy, trying to kind of get things in motion 6 months before they were going to happen. It's overwhelming at times. There's a lot to be done. It's incredible how much work and prep it takes to be ready for 15 students and 5 islanders, and this collaboration between 3 different NGOs, and 1 is in Denmark and 2 are in the US, and just getting everybody here, and then planning out accommodations and all those technical, logistical details. That takes a lot of time.
I'm looking forward to the trip to Samso Island and to explore with them just what they consider energy independence to be, and try to report to our community here on whether or not there are any transferable lessons learned from that experience, because we have to come up with something that is suitable within our cultural context and within our regulatory system and governmental system.
Going to the Energy Academy and Samso, certainly we want to learn from them in terms of the dynamics and the technology around wind, solar, heating, and conservation. But we also want to learn from them in terms of how do you bring a community together and how do you get community-wide support and consensus, which is a difficult thing to get.
We'll start in a moment.
Hi, I'm Patty Trainer from Vinyl Haven.
You are? I'm Søren Hermansen.
Hi. How do you do? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah. I've been on your island.
I know.
Yeah. It was nice.
You came out originally and talked about wind turbines.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Nathan Johnson. Nice to meet you.
Søren.
Yes, pleasure.
Yeah. We can easily talk ourselves into all the possibilities about solar panels and wind power and all the other things, but that's just technology. That's just business that can help us in this progress. The real change happens up here in the mindset of people and the way we talk and communicate and the way we allow each other to let ideas flourish and develop.
Well, SAMSO has since, historical times, years back, been a central place in Scandinavia. In the old days, people were sailing, so people passed through these straits here, and SAMSO was right in the center. So it was a natural meeting place for Vikings and for the life of civilization in thousands of years. The intention of the Energy Academy was originally to be an international meeting place for exchange of a new paradigm of planning and sustainability in many ways. So the Island Institute and the College of the Atlantic is kind of looking at this as a potential study, because this maybe gives some answers to the discussion about sustainability in a new perspective.
So now have you met Malene?
No. At the Energy Academy, we have been focused on technology, but what I work with is behavior. How do you look at behavior, and how do we integrate that in our strategies? And how we did it was to make huge community meetings where we took people pretty serious and took their vision serious. It's a way of creating the individual perspective together with the society perspective, and that was a shift.
For me, problem solving is not only about just giving a solution. It's about bringing people on board and making them part of the solution. Within this framework, I'm particularly focusing on understanding what it is for a community to have an institution as the center of connection and also development.
One of the great things about this coast is that you have a mixing of people who've been here for 10 generations, people who understand the micropolitics of a community and how to navigate it, working with people who can draw in ideas from around the globe. I think it makes the potential for what we can achieve here far more outstanding than they might otherwise be.
We're really hoping that in addition to the collaboration of working together and learning from each other, that we actually get to see some projects that get implemented and that they really will help to transform the future energy scenarios on these islands. And so folks are interested in doing large-scale energy efficiency projects and then connecting those to renewable energy projects and just changing the way we use and generate electricity on the islands.
This looks like an ideal location of facing the south, sloping down to the south. So we would get the early sun.
If we were just going to be doing like a 50 or 100 panel array, I'd be just like jumping for joy. It's the fact that it's such a large one. I'm still pretty happy about it, don't get me wrong. The numbers that we crunch, that what they need in terms of electricity versus what we can actually fit here is the question.
Right.
Zach saying you own 3 lots side by side?
Are the other 2 this way?
I forget. We have to look at that tax map.
Island communities have a unique position to act as musicosms, act as staging areas where you can figure something out, work through a problem, work through a set of principles, and then once you see that works, you can take that, you can replicate it, you can scale it, and you really have the opportunity to be a model. And just like SAMSO Energy Academy and SAMSO Island is a model. So here's this road right here.
I think a majority of folks realize that we're charting new territory here. We've got to try to come up with something different that's sensitive to the things that are important to all of us. That's a real challenge.
Hi. Good, thank you. How you all doing?
Good, thank you. Yeah, I've actually never seen it.
Oh, it's just after that coming on.
if we can make this change on these little communities, then the change in the world or in the global perspective is maybe more visible, and we can then make things happen easier and faster if we are not going to solve the entire problem in one go, but we can solve it bit by bit, step by step. This is what I expect from this cooperation. I think there's a great potential for this to happen.